Yes, Your Honor. We're talking about what's called Lawonda Rusk.
Good afternoon, ma'am. If you could stand in front of Madam Clerk and be sworn.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Watch your step, second up. Step. And you swear.
Thank you, ma'am. If you need to adjust the microphone, you can. Please answer questions the attorneys may have.
Good afternoon. Would you please tell us your name?
I'm sorry.
Could you please tell us your name?
Lawonda Sample-Rusk.
Thank you, Ms. Sample-Rusk. We have a court reporter taking everything down today. Would you mind spelling your last name for us?
SAMPLE-8RUSK.
Thank you. I want to remind you that during your testimony today, we're not saying the names of any children, only using initials if we need to refer to them, including your own grandchildren or children. We'll only use initials or refer to them as your grandchildren, if anything, okay? Let me ask you, Ms. Sample-Rusk, on January 6th of 2023, did you go to Richneck Elementary?
Yes, I did.
And what was the reason that you went there?
I went to Richneck to pick up one of my grandsons.
Okay.
Who was a first grader there.
And you have how many grandsons that attended Richneck at the time?
2.
Okay. And when you got to Richneck, did you go into the office area?
Yes, I did.
And if you remember, who was in there when you first arrived?
When I entered the office, it was the 2 receptionist secretaries. And there was a student sitting to the right when I got in the office.
Okay. Do you know the names of either of the secretaries?
I believe one was a substitute there because the other was on vacation. I'm not sure, but the other one was there all the time, and she goes on Miss O.
Miss O.
No, yes,
Okay.
I think it's I don't know, but I think it's Olive.
That's okay. Thank you.
So we always call her Miss O because that's what my boys call her.
Okay. Now, while you were there in the office, did something happen that took you by surprise?
Yes.
Can you just tell us what it was, what you saw happen?
I was in the office for a little lengthy time because I was speaking with the receptionist. We were talking about cruises and different things. I'm sorry.
You can take a minute, take a deep breath, it's all right.
We were talking, and then a employee of the school, I don't know her name, I believe it's Miss Harris, I'm not sure. She ran into the office, and she said, she yelled something about a gun or shooting or something like that. So I was still on the side of the counter where I should be as a visitor in the school. the receptionists were still at their desk. But when the teacher ran in, she ran in and went straight to Dr. Parker's office and closed the door.
Okay, so the teacher went into Dr. Parker's office?
Yes, the entrance from the office.
Okay.
Because there's an entrance to Dr. Parker's office from the main office.
Understood.
So, and to both the principal and vice principal's offices from the main office.
So after that happens, what's the next thing you see happen right there where you are in the office?
As she ran in and shut the door, we didn't have any information. And then, or I didn't know. I can't recall exactly. I can't recall verbatim, but we found out it was a first grade class.
So you don't need to tell us what you heard, but really, or what you thought was going on, but just describe it visually. Like, what's the next thing that happens in the office where you are?
Miss O jumped up, got on the phone, and she called whatever code they call out to the teachers over the intercom to let them know that there was something going on.
Okay.
I was a little hysterical because when I found out it was a first grade class, I was ready to go down the hall to find out what was going on because that's my kids down there. So
Now, at some point, does another teacher come into the office?
after that, we called the police, everything. Then, just as I was wearing a crossbody purse. Just as I took that off and set that and my keys on the counter, I was going to go down the hall. Before I could get out the door, Miss Zwerner comes into the office and she's holding herself like this. And I see blood on her hand. And so, by that time, when Ms. Zwerner came into the office, I had gone behind the main desk that we're supposed to be on. I was back there where the employees would have been.
Mm-hmm.
I had stood behind there because I didn't know what was going on. And I took the little boy that was in the office, took him back. I said, look, you need to hide. I said, hide. I said, my name is Miss Lawonda. I got you. I said, you hide. The kid hit so good I couldn't even find him after I really looked and looked for him. But he was back shoved up under the one of the big copier machines. Okay.
So let me ask you a question. So while you were telling him to hide, and where are you when you're telling him to hide?
I went to him. I walked from behind the counter, walked to him, took his hand, let him know. I said, my name is Miss Lawonda. I have a grandson here. I said, you're going to be okay, but I need you to hide until we find out what's going on.
And-
So I made sure he was secure. And then when I didn't see him, but I knew he didn't walk out the office, I knew he was secure.
So at that time, after he got secure, where was Miss Zwerner, if you know?
So I secured him before Ms. Zwerner came into the office.
Thank you.
He did not see any of that.
Thank you.
I
So
got him out of the way because I didn't know what was going on. He did not see any of that.
I understand. So let's pick it up from that moment where Miss Zwerner, he's hidden and Miss Zwerner comes into the office. What do you see?
Ms. Zwerner comes into the office and, before she came into the office, we locked the office door after the teacher came in and went into Dr. Parker's office. We locked the door. We didn't know what was going on because I locked the door. I ran and locked the door. Then so when I saw Miss Zwerner, she came to the door and I had to unlock the door for her. She came in and she was holding herself and she said, I've been shot. She was very pale. And then as you walk into the front office, to the right, immediately, like side by side with the counter, there was a principal's door. Ms. Zwerner fell there. Okay. When she fell, I lost it. But I was trying to keep my composure because she fell out. When she went down the wall, there was blood on the wall. So I went to her while the secretaries were doing what they were supposed to do, whatever protocol is. I don't know. I'm not an employee. I cannot speak on that. They were doing whatever they were supposed to do to make everybody aware, get law enforcement there, whatever.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this testimony, this line of questioning. We are here again regarding Dr. Parker's actions and inactions on that day. This is beyond the time when Ms. Zwerner had already been shot by JT. I don't see the relevance here.
Dr. Parker's inaction caused exactly this that's being described. So this is exactly the same as the prior ruling regarding Ms. Kovac's situation in the classroom. This is the shooting's aftermath, and it is the result of Dr. Parker's willful inaction.
Again, how is that relevant? She's charged with child endangerment, and we're talking about the medical response and the response to the people that see that in the office. Is there still child endangerment happening right now? Is that what you're alleging?
Absolutely. There is a result of the child endangerment. There is a prong of the statute that requires proof that the child was in danger and possibly deadly danger. And we have a grandmother who is shuttling a child to safety in that office as the event is unfolding. This event is entirely precipitated by the child neglect. But for it, none of this would happen.
So let's streamline it, because it's going into narrative where she's just giving a narrative and not answering the question. Can you ask another question, please?
Yes, and if I may just sort of inform the witness, I'm going to need to ask you questions, so just pause with me for a moment and we'll walk through it step by step, okay?
Okay.
At the moment that you have described where Ms. Zwerner fell down to the floor, can you tell me at that moment, you've said you were with her, do you know where the office receptionists were?
Yes, she was on the phone.
Okay.
Ms. O was on the phone.
All right. And do you know where Dr. Parker is?
I didn't see Dr. Parker.
Okay. And do you know where the principal, Ms. Foster, is?
I didn't see Ms. Foster.
Okay. And so while you're there with Ms. Zwerner, and at the time that you let Ms. Zwerner into the office, did you see Dr. Parker or Principal Foster?
No.
Okay. And so after you have seen Ms. Zwerner slide down to the floor, what's the next person that comes to the office?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the meeting.
Who is the next person that comes to the office is not a leading question.
I think technically it is, because it presumes that somebody else does come.
Well-
so can you rephrase it to who was the next person that comes to the office, if any?
Did anyone come to the office after that?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I honestly don't remember.
Did you ever see a police officer?
Okay, now, I can speak on who came, but as far as the next person,
Okay.
I want to be very specific
That's
with my
fine.
answers to make sure I'm answering this correctly.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a specific question. Did police officers come and attend to Ms. Zwerner?
Yes, there was one officer I remember, I believe he was a sheriff's deputy.
You don't have to tell us any more about it. That's good enough. And at some point, do you find the child who had gone into hiding?
Yes,
Okay. And at some point later that day, are you reunited with your grandchildren?
yes, I was.
All right, thank you. I don't have any further questions for you. Please answer any questions from defense counsel.
Okay.
One moment, please.
Good afternoon, Ms. Sample-Rusk.
Hi, good afternoon.
All right. You mentioned that when you were in the office, you heard a teacher, or you saw a teacher go into Dr. Parker's office and close the door, correct? And so you don't have any personal knowledge of anything Dr. Parker said or did at that, before that point,
I know.
or after that point, right?
Well, I did see Dr. Parker after the police and everyone got there.
Understood, yes.
She saw her come through the office, and the principal as well, but in reference to Dr. Parker, no, I didn't see anything. I didn't see her at all until the end.
Okay. So you don't know what was going on in the office, right?
I don't know. All I know is she closed that door and stood there and watched us.
Hold on.
The
You said
teacher.
the teacher closed the door.
Closed the door. I did not see Dr. Parker at all.
Okay. So you don't know what Dr. Parker was doing in her office. You don't know what calls she was making or anything like that, correct?
Correct. That is correct.
Okay. You don't know what instructions she was giving, anything like that, right?
No, I don't.
Okay. Ms. Sample-Rusk, is it true that you filed a lawsuit in this courthouse arising from these events on January 6, 2023?
Objection, relevance.
Oh, it definitely,
Okay, oh, yeah, you can respond.
okay. It's definitely relevant and it goes toward potential bias, Your Honor.
Okay, how's it not relevant?
Well, whether she filed a lawsuit in the suit or not, I don't understand how that's relevant to whether Dr. Parker committed child neglect. Don't see the connection.
I think the law allows parties to cross-examine on a witness's interest in the case. If she's filed a lawsuit, she may or may not have an interest in the case. That's proper grounds for cross-examination. So you may proceed. Do you need him to repeat the question?
Yes.
Please repeat the question.
Okay. Ms. Sample-Rusk, you filed a lawsuit in this courthouse regarding the events of that day, correct?
A lawsuit has not been filed yet.
Okay. Have you made any demands of Ms. Dr. Parker or her attorneys?
I'm not sure I understand that. Have I made any demands of her? I'm not sure. I don't understand. I want to make sure I answer
I understand.
correctly.
Right. Regarding a potential settlement, or have you made any demands whatsoever of Dr. Parker or her attorneys
No.
related to that event, to that day?
I have not known. And as far as I know, there has not been a lawsuit that has been filed yet.
Yet. Okay. Do you know whether one has been drafted?
No, I do not know that.
Have you retained an attorney?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And is it your understanding that a lawsuit, whether it's been filed or not, would be against Dr. Parker as a defendant?
That is correct.
Okay. And before you came into that office that afternoon, you have no idea of anything that occurred before that point, correct?
That's correct.
No further questions.